You can't negotiate with reality. And the reality is that beggars cannot be choosers. So we saw that in the past week with the news that, Biden administration had to undo those sanctions on Nord Stream 2, because the reality is that Germany and China are the two major manufacturers in the world. They have the huge trade surpluses in the world, and they are economic powerhouses. So the reality is you need their goods and services. And we're going to show you how, America is a nation that relies on the kindness of strangers. We have a lot of printed money, a lot of stimulus checks, a lot of Biden bucks. But the fact is you need somebody to send you goods for that. U.S. trade deficit surges to record shortfall with China keeps rising. With a new round of $1,400 stimulus checks pouring in and the domestic economy continue to show substantial improvement, the imbalance in goods and services with the rest of the world swelled to $74.4 billion, the Commerce Department reported Tuesday. That's the highest level ever in a data series that goes back to January 1992 and represents a 57.6% increase from the same period a year ago, and higher than the $70.5 billion in February. So the trade deficit is surging.
Right. So the United States is a consumer economy. It's not a manufacturing economy. So if you send everybody a check, they're going to consume with it. And that means they go down to Walmart and they consume. And that means that the money goes to China.
Yes.
Because China is the manufacturing economy, and so is Germany. Germany is a manufacturing economy. Germany needs energy to manufacture. Yep. And that's why the sanctions with Nord Stream 2 were lifted at Germany's request.
Yes.
So it's a big win for Germany because they're a manufacturer. They need the energy. And all the intermittent outages on the pipeline now, which goes through Ukraine, which became the subject of sanctions, they said, we're not interested in that. We just want the energy because we're a manufacturing country, so we can send you our BMWs and send you our Mercedes-Benz, and you can buy them from us with those dollars. How long we keep taking those dollars, that's another question.
Yeah, so you had the IMF calling for a new Bretton Woods. You had the World Economic Forum, and I think it was the UN that they were working with, calling for a great reset. So in that sort of thing throughout history, these moments post Thucydides trap, what you see are grand bargains being struck, and you always need allies at your side of the table. So if you need Germany on your side at the Great Reset, that you're going to do what they want. Now, in terms of China, we're, of course, we're saber rattling with them. It started under Obama in 2012 when he did the Asia pivot, and then Trump accelerated with the, his trade wars, and now Biden is at least posturing, right? They certainly, the MSNBC mouthpiece sort of the Biden administration pushes a Cold War with China. But this all started, of course, with Obama in 2012 and what happened in 2013. They knew that China was about to announce the Belt and Road Initiative, i.e. instead of plowing all of their trade surplus that they have into treasuries, they started plowing it into lending out to vast areas of the world to build infrastructure and make sure that they become client states of China instead of the United States. But that chart, just dramatically to see this chart of exactly where we are in this crisis versus 2008, because in 2008, imports from China collapsed along with the economy. This time, it's pretty shocking. U.S. stimulus has created a boom in China. And that's a tweet from Zero Hedge, but they're linking to an article from Charles Hugh Smith of Two Minds, another frequent guest. And I want to show you this chart just to show you the dramatic quality and nature of it. This is the U.S. Goods deficit with the rest of the world, China, Mexico, Germany, lots of countries. But you see it go to all-time lows. Or highs, I guess you could say. The green bit is the services surplus. So we usually have a services surplus, and that's like Hollywood, intellectual property, software, Boeing jets, and stuff like that are, well, I guess they're included in goods and deficit, but like legal fees, banking services, stuff like that. That also declined, unlike back in 2008. We also saw a decline in the goods deficit as well.
Right. Across the spectrum of the economy, they've got a trade deficit with China that's growing out of control, continues to grow out of control. It has been for a lot. You mentioned in the second half, we're going to get more into this. And, the United States has this position that it's an indispensable country, that they've got the moral high ground. And the rest of the world is now maneuvering outside of U.S. influence. But the U.S. is doubling down on their quote-unquote soft power. And that the rest of the world attitude is toward the U.S. is that they look at the U.S. as a bit of a snob.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information, and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now, let's continue.
Right? They'll say, you're being a bit snobby there, U.S., your moral high ground talk. So I think we'll just do a complete end run. We'll do the energy, go around your Ukrainian puppet. We'll do Hollywood. We'll make our own Hollywood movies, and we're going to modify them, censor them as we see fit. And you can't do anything about it because your dollar, which has been the basis of your empire, is now no longer good here. Suck it up.
It was a unique empire in that it could issue this fiat currency. Never in history have any of these empires been able to do that. Thomas Jefferson, for that reason, of course, you don't want to be a bankrupt nation because a bankrupt nation becomes either authoritarian or chaos and street riots, bad stuff happens. So he had said something along the lines of like trade with all nations, foreign entanglements, none at all. We don't want to be any foreign alliances or entanglements. We just want to trade. That's the position Germany's in, of course, because they can't just print up dollars and send it. So they're focused on their own domestic economy. And that's the problem with the Triffin dilemma, as we've covered as well, is that this U.S. dollar causes that goods deficit there. And Charles Hugh Smith points out that while it's all too easy to blame China for soaring trade deficits, nobody forced corporate America to transfer supply chains to China. It was all done to maximize profits because that is all that matters, right? If we examine the chart of U.S. corporate profits, we noticed that they were around $700 billion annually in the high-growth 1990s, when America's trade deficit in goods and services fluctuated between $100 billion and $175 billion annually. Once China entered the World Trade Organization in 2001, corporate profits and trade deficits skyrocketed. So that little bit right there, that's where China enters the WTO. Here's corporate profits soared, where obviously they're able to vastly underpay Chinese workers versus American workers. And we're in this situation now.
Right. Too bad America doesn't believe in free market capitalism. They think that they need to be mucking around in everyone else's backyard. Whether it's China, mucking around in Ukraine has had the consequence of pushing Germany into the influence together with Russia. Now that's a very powerful axis. Good luck dealing with that, America. And going forward, the only thing you have to fight back with is the money you're printing by the trillions and trillions and trillions, and it's becoming Venezuela, Bolivar-like worthlessness. Oh gosh, I guess we lose. Too bad. I'm buying Bitcoin.
Right. Well, in terms of Bitcoin, it was interesting actually that China in the past week on Friday of last week, they dumped the news that they were going to crack down on Bitcoin mining. By the way, only coal-powered Bitcoin miners. So that's interesting that they're responding to the international news cycle of, Bitcoin mining, just boiling the oceans and stuff like that. And it's China's fault. So they are responding to that. They are responding to soft power, soft request, and international condemnation. So there's that. But in terms of why these companies like Apple is in the news this past week because they're being pressured because of their labor force in China. And I'm going to look at this article from 3 years ago exactly. This is from 2018 in Business Insider. And Business Insider sent employees there, some of their journalists there, to the actual iPhone City. iPhone City employs 350,000 people. At the peak, 350,000 during their peak season of delivering new iPhones within the Foxconn city, which has 1.3 million employees at this city, essentially. Inside iPhone City, the massive Chinese factory town where half of the world's iPhones are produced. So you have 350,000 workers. Almost all of them are between the ages of 18 and 25. In 2018, when this article was written, they were earning anywhere between $350 and $850 per month. So now think of that if Apple were to be forced to move production back in the US, how would they get 350,000 people at one factory in one location? These people in China, they live in dorms and they work 6 days a week for this. So they're earning what the typical American, all costs included of like Obamacare, healthcare, Social Security payments, or payroll taxes, all that stuff is going to cost a minimum of $350 a day to do this. So they have the dorms where the employees live 6 days a week. They pay about $25 a month to live in dorms. The government, the local government in China built this dorm for $1 billion. These dorms, like obviously hundreds of thousands of people live in these. And they built an airport, they built the roads for them. So that's what you're competing with, that sort of size of and capacity versus what anywhere else, let alone America, can do.
Do in such a situation. Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with first-hand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.